Hello, I am Mr. Williams, your student's eighth grade science teacher. Welcome to this virtual back to school night. I grew up in Redondo Beach, but I've been living in San Diego since 1991 and in Encinitas since 2002. We have two boys, ages 15 and 18. One is a sophomore at SDA, the other one is a freshman at Maricosta. So yes, we live in the community and I run into students all the time. We love to do activities outside like surfing and golfing and hanging out the beach. So you will probably run into me at some point. I've been teaching for 20 years. I love to cook and birdwatch. I went to San Diego State University. I have a bachelor's of science in biology and a master's in education. I love to travel. And I surf a lot. So it's another place where I see former students is out in the water. And I love teaching science at Oakcrest. And yes, that's me as an eighth grader in 1983. I was quite the shy, awkward kid, and I definitely have some empathy for your students because the transition from elementary school to middle school and then the high school is hard for some kids, and I understand that. So the curriculum we cover is essentially starting off with evolution, then astronomy, then physics, then we finish up with waves. Our curriculum or instructional materials is called Lab Aids or CPUP, and we're learning every day about new technology for distance learning, things like Jamboard, Pear Deck, and some other tools we try to use to make it more interesting and engaging for your students. Now, instead of the scientific method, we do what are called the cross-cutting concepts and the science and engineering practices. It's the next generation science standards, scientific method, basically, and I think it's much better, and it allows the kids to get a much deeper understanding of how science works. Best way to reach me is email. Technically, you could call the school and leave a voicemail. I'm not sure how to even check my voicemail. I don't remember the last time I've actually gotten a voicemail on my school phone. So just email me. It's the easiest and quickest way to get a hold of me. I'm on my computer all day teaching. Here's some of the science rooms. We have a nice new 3-year-old, but relatively new, beautiful science building in Oakcrest that we all wish we were at right now teaching, but hopefully we can get there sooner than later. So this is a typical week of instruction in my class. Monday, Tuesdays are block days, as well as Thursday, Friday. Block days are 80 minutes, and I do both synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous is live teaching, like what I'm doing now, and I do it in usually 15 to 20 minute chunks to keep it more interesting, and the kids don't want to hear me talk for an hour and 20 minutes. So I do that on the block days. Wellness Wednesdays, kids see all their teachers. And for my class, it's what's called a checkpoint, or like a mini test or assessment to just get an idea of how much they've learned, and it helps guide us moving forward to make sure that they are learning what they need to learn. So essentially, it's 20 points a week, 5 points on the block days, 10 points for Wednesday checkpoint. So what will this be like? So typically in a block day, I start with this welcoming slide and reminding kids to turn mute off or the mute on and our cameras on. We talk about what we're going to be doing. I make sure that they write down in their agenda. I typically don't have homework because I give them time to finish in class because I want to be available to them to ask me questions. So you won't see a whole lot of homework in science. And I do record every session to make sure they're participating, and it keeps them on their toes in terms of good distance learning behavior. We always start with what's called a welcoming ritual, and it's a way to establish and maintain positive relationships, build class community, and just to get to know each other and making sure they're paying attention. So, like on Monday, Tuesday, our welcoming ritual was, what's the best beach town in Encinitas? I always talk about what the week schedule is like because it does change quite a bit. It's hard for kids to keep track of. I highly recommend you print the calendar and their schedule and have it near them in their workspace. And then, so after I talked for 15 to 20 minutes, I describe to them what we're doing next. Then I'd be finished with the synchronous teaching, and they'd go into asynchronous learning. We might have class discussions 20, 30 minutes later. This is from Monday, Tuesday, and then after about 20, 30 minutes of the asynchronous learning, we come back and I tell them what we're doing next, what the next task is, and just go through the instructions several times to make sure they understand how to do it. And then I let them go, usually for another 20, 30 minutes, but I'm always available the whole period, the whole day for questions, whether through email or through a Google Meet. And so that was typically the lesson on Monday, Tuesday. Now, for what you could do is go to Aries on a weekly basis. I will be entering grades 2 to 3 times a week, so it's important to stay on top of that to help your student stay updated. So let's go to Google Classroom. And what Google Classroom default is the stream, this right here. And you typically don't want to start there. You want to go to classwork. So when you click on classwork, you have the most recent activity at the top. And that way you can see what we've done. You can look at your students' work, help them, talk to them about it. And that's basically where you'd be going for Google Classroom. You can access that also through my website, which is on the Oakcrest webpage. So we got Google Classroom right here, and then my science calendar here, which shows you what we've been doing and upcoming assignments. Okay, back to the slideshow. So those are, you as a parent, what you really need to be doing is checking Aries in Google Classroom, emailing me if you have any questions. It's going to be a great year. I hope you've already noticed that it's much, much better than the spring. I'm liking it much better than the spring. And I think the students are, and they're learning a lot more and staying on top of things. So please email me with any questions or comments. I'm, again, on my computer all day long, more than I'd like to admit, that I'm here whenever you need me. Okay, thank you.